Most, if not, all of these devices still work somehow. But why don't I use them anymore? Why are they my quote-unquote junk? Well, it's because I've found something better. I simply no longer have a need for them.
First off, what is e-waste? E-waste is simply electronic waste. This ranges from old smartphones, television, speakers, basically anything that has an electrical component. But why is e-waste so bad if it is recycled incorrectly? E-waste releases non-biodegradable substances into the environment such as chromium, lead, and mercury, and other harmful chemicals. Organisms that are exposed to these chemicals can have higher health risks in the future. There are three main environments in which organisms are exposed to e-waste. These are the city, suburbs, the ocean. The cities and suburbs are mainly populated of humans and small animals, and is usually contained of man-made vegetation. The cities and suburbs can be blazing hot or freezing cold depending on the area you live in the world. However, the cities and suburbs is the place that most people are exposed to the harmful effects of improperly disposing e-waste. The ocean is one big biome in which e-waste pollution is present in. The ocean consists of many marine animals, ranging from small plankton to giant sharks. The ocean also consists of a lot of seafloor vegetation, which provides home for many seafloor species and protection from other predators. The climate of the ocean mainly depends on how deep you are. The deeper you are, the colder it will become, and same vice versa. But how does e-waste pollution get to us humans and sea creatures? The answer is, it's in the air and water.
Electronics contain heavy metals such as lithium, mercury, barium, lead, and etc. When these metals are disposed of improperly, they can seep into the ground and eventually make their way into groundwater channels. The water from the groundwater channels eventually make their way into small ponds and streams. The appearance of these metals causes the death of many organisms in aquatic areas. Along with it, the consumption of this water by humans and other animals can lead to lead poisoning. And to top it all off, some of these heavy metals have been found to be carcinogenic, which means they may cause cancer. As can be clearly seen, the pollution of electronics disrupts the groundwater in the water cycle, which leads to the destruction of habitats and more. One of the effects of e-waste pollution into the air is the release of hydrocarbons. For example, in Lagos, there's a group of people who scavenge landfills in order to find improperly disposed of electronics to try and extract the raw materials from them. When they find certain wires, they burn them in order to extract the copper. This burning can release hydrocarbons into the air, which is bad for the environment. Also, when electronics are sitting in landfills, they tend to heat up. When they warm up, they are more prone to release carcinogenic dioxins and other toxic chemicals that may further harm the environment.
Alright, so we already know about the bad effects of what happens if e-waste goes to the wrong place. But what happens if it does go to the right place? I talked with a representative from Homeboy Electronics, which is an e-waste recycling company based in LA. Here's what they had to say. What is the benefit of recycling old electronics?
Basically, there's a lot of precious metals and natural resources in electronics, so if they're going into a landfill, they're obviously at the end of their life, and we have to mine new resources to make new electronics. So if you recycle them, you're able to get the metals, the plastics, the golds, all that kind of stuff out, so that can be used for new products instead of mining new precious metals, which is, I think, the most important reason to recycle stuff.
Although e-waste does not directly affect biodiversity, it raises the health risk for those who are exposed to the harmful substances that are released into the environment. According to the World Health Organization, lead, which is a toxin released from e-waste burning, is harmful to young children as it affects their central and nervous systems. However, this is preventable, for humans are responsible for causing the leakings of these substances.
Since we know that humans are wasteful, we did a survey among our peers to measure the human impact we have on e-waste. We asked the question if people recycle their old electronics, and 33% of people said no, 37.5% of people said sometimes, and 29.2% of people said yes. Although this seems good, our next question really identified a problem. We also asked if people went to e-waste recycling events, and 78.8% of people said no. This could mean that people are incorrectly disposing of electronics instead of actually going to dedicated e-waste trash pickup site. We also asked how many electronics people think they have at home, and 65.2% of people had an estimated 10 or less electronics. This is still good. We also found some more data that supports our survey findings.
Currently, we have 70 million computers inside of our landfills, which accounts for 40% of all the lead which is inside of the US landfills. Although buying new electronics helps the economy, in the long run we are just wasting a lot of precious metals. Economically, it is better to recycle our devices as it helps low-income citizens to be able to afford electronics even if they are second-hand. In addition, we are able to recycle a lot of the raw materials. For example, Apple disclosed that in 2015, they were able to save 2,204 pounds of gold or $40 million by recycling iPads, iPods, and Macs. That's a lot of metal.
Quite simply, just recycling won't cut it. Only about 20% of all e-waste in the world is recycled due to human choices, and as shown from our survey, that number can vary. For example, in 2011, Apple had created a robot, the Arm, that could dismantle an iPhone in about 11 seconds, but with 231 million iPhones being made a year, the Arm would quickly fall behind. The real solution is to cut it off at its source, to stop making new iPhones every year and stop buying new phones as soon as they come out. So the same goes for other computers and electronics. Stop trying to recycle things as the first solution, and instead do the other two R's, reduce and reuse. According to EWaste, people keep their phones on average for 2.92 years, which is higher than the 2016 average, which means that we are wasting less electronics. It seems that we are on a good path for the future of making electronics worthwhile.
And my final question is that, should more people recycle their old electronics?
Yes, they should.
Alright, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Bye.
Bye.